shoots, bounce shot, that's a goal. Virginia wins, 11-10.
Colin shoots, he scores, Virginia wins.
He's here now, here's a goal, in front, count it.
Open shot and Hopkins doesn't come back to knock off Virginia.
A gorgeous Charlottesville, Virginia day, Klockner Stadium, the venue for college lacrosse, presented by Old Spice on ESPN for the 93rd time. Johns Hopkins and Virginia meet in one of the great rivalries in college lacrosse. Chris Cotter and Paul Carcaterra along for the call, and as you saw at the very top of the show, 6 of the last 9 games between these two have been decided by 1 goal. 5 of those games, Paul, going into overtime. And with the way these two teams have played this year, I would expect nothing less. There's Paul Krause right there. He's a big reason why Virginia is 7-2 on the year. And, of course, Shaq Stanwyck for Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, those two will light up the scoreboard. Krause, for my money, is becoming one of the most assertive dodgers in college lacrosse. Great lower body strength and lightning quick wrists. And then Stanwyck is a true conductor of the offense. He's a playmaker. His vision and his quarterbacking skills, by far, that's his calling card.
Michael Krause is just 4 points away from 100 in his career. And if he gets it in this game, he'll be the 2nd fastest in Virginia history. Shaq Stanwyck, as you know, part of that Stanwyck family, now the 8th sibling to play Division I college lacrosse. 2 very good face-off men today in this game, too. Hunter Moreland for Johns Hopkins and Justin Schwenk for Virginia. Both of them, as you can see, in the top 11 in the NCAA as far as face-off percentage goes. Very effective. Underway in this critical non-conference game for both of these two teams as they get set to begin ACC and Big Ten play. And just like that, Will Rock wins possession for Virginia, but they can't get a good shot on goal.
Yeah, there was Ian Laviano, number 3 in white. A great right-handed shooter. I think he forced that pass. I thought he had a chance to spray that one.
Here's Laviano now putting it back in play for the Who's. I mentioned 7-2 on the year, but 0-2 in ACC play. They really need a big non-conference win. This would be it for them as they continue through ACC play. Matt Moore, one of these stud freshmen that Virginia has. They've started as many as 5 freshmen this year, Paul, and we may even get a 6th. Today you saw Will Rock right off the bat in that faceoff.
There's another one right there, Regan Quinn, 19 in white.
That's Aiken with the shot. Off cage, and Virginia maintains possession.
Here's the matchup. Foley playing like a first-team All-American, and Michael Krause, the Dodger.
Krause finds his space and scores. Just like that, Paul, he rolls off of Foley right at the doorstep.
This kid's strength at goal line extended is scary. When you look at him, when you see him in person, he looks like a pedestrian attackman. But when you see his ability to initiate contact with defenders and then find his angle, that's what's separating 2 and white in college lacrosse right now. Defenders are not able to deal with him on goal line extended because of his ability to initiate contact, but then his versatility, the right and left hand.
There you see the sophomore from New Canaan, Connecticut, his 24th goal on the season, puts the Who's up early, 1-0. Moreland and Schwenk. Schwenk clamps down on it. Ball still loose at midfield, and Hopkins is going to retain possession. First time we'll get a chance to see the Blue Jays on the offensive end if they can clear this, but right now having a little bit of issue. Hopkins fails to get the clear, and as we've seen with this Johns Hopkins team all year long, very successful as far as the numbers go. 3rd in the country in clearing percentage, but not 0 for 1 so far in this game.
It was Virginia a week ago against Notre Dame. I did that game. Wow, that was their Achilles heel in that game. Their inability to go from defense to offense right here in this exact scenario.
Clark, what are your keys for the Wahoos today?
Well, I think midfield Dodgers. Guy like Doc Aiken right here. Get some pressure off Michael Krause, that's one. And then the defensive clearing. 66% last week against Notre Dame. You want to clear about 90%, especially in the fourth quarter.
Big opportunity here. Krause couldn't pull the trigger. Now looking to find one of his teammates, and they'll reset.
Really like Aiken with the ball right here. He's been showing his versatility, dodging with his right and his left hand. Big, big, strong athlete.
That's one of the things that Coach Tiffany told us in our meetings with him this week. Both Aiken and Krause just need to work on their games in terms of the versatility, as you said, in dodging and using their rights. In front, misses the cage that time. Good opportunity for Cameron Stafford, another player that Coach Tiffany highlighted as a kid who just works really hard in practice and is getting much better. Shot. Missed the cage that time, Regan Quinn. Virginia's putting a lot of rubber on the cage so far. Here's Krause. The shuffle shot, he's going to be in the crease. That's going to go to Hopkins.
I think there might be a push on Hopkins before he landed in the crease, or forced him to land in the crease.
Technical foul, 8 blue, push, 30 seconds, 8 blue, push, 30.
Patrick Foley will sit for 30 seconds. Field has been tilted a little bit toward this end, Paul.
Yeah, so hard to deal with the strength of Michael Krause. The push, that's questionable. It looked like it had the contact a few steps before he left his feet there.
Aiken scores.
The youth of the Cavaliers. Chris, you mentioned all those freshmen. What? Their sophomore class, headlined by the feeder Krause and the shooter Aiken. This kid from day one, 6 and white, has shown his range as one of the best spot shooting midfielders in college lacrosse. You have to know where Dox Aiken is on the extra man every time. He's the trigger guy that will stretch the defense.
Remember the Spanish Society there, as you saw. Muy bien for Dox Aiken. 20th of the year. 2-0 Virginia on top.
Well-rounded kid.
Yeah.
For sure. I spoke to his mom, Patrice, last week. She's mad at me because I blew her spot and told America that Dox took ballet as a youngster. To play football, she made him take ballet to get his balance going, just like some superstar NFL guys.
Schwenk pushes it forward now after winning possession. Just could not quite hook up with Laviano as Virginia had an unsettled situation. And now a turnover. It'll go back to Hopkins here. Blue Jays yet to even get a shot on goal. The field's really been tilted here toward the right with Virginia.
You know, the one advantage I saw for Hopkins was Hunter Moreland. We mentioned Schwenk with a good statistical season thus far, but I felt like Hunter Moreland way more battle-tested. Schwenk's a sophomore, a transfer from Monmouth, hasn't played on the big stage as long as Moreland. So that is a one-on-one matchup as this game develops, will certainly dictate tempo and offensive touches.
And you look at Moreland, and just in his last 6 games, he's almost 75% from the dot. Concannon over the top of the cage. Clark, what's your keys for the Johns Hopkins?
Assisted goals. I feel like Virginia plays good one-on-one defense, but off ball they can get discombobulated at times. And then leverage with number 2, Michael Krause. Coach Petramala called the Virginia superstar a bear. So strong at goal line extended. Can they match that strength?
Matt Jama with a nice play, dislodging the ball, and Kyle Kaloji brings it out for Virginia, now setting up shop. Inside, hit the post. Krause couldn't quite corral. Now he does, fires it wide.
There's Laviano. Nice feed to Stafford, who's getting the start in this game over Michael DeMario, and Stafford just playing his way onto the field with 3 goals against Vermont midweek, and Coach Tiffany loves his finishing ability.
Yeah, he says he finishes in a shoebox. As we saw, a perfect example right there. Crosses and players all over him, he's still able to get the shot off.
There's certain guys that you feel like they're never covered. You can pass them regardless. Stafford, one of them.
Dave Smith, you saw walking off a little gingerly for Virginia. We'll hopefully get an update on Smith's condition as Virginia now man up for a minute. Missed that call. Apologize for that. Behind the back scores. What a great shot that time by Quinn.
You see the assertiveness out of the Cavaliers. When we spoke to Lars Tiffany this week, he said the time is now. Enough about the future. 19 in white is a freshman. He wants Regan Quinn and the rest of his classmates to play like upperclassmen. And they need it because of this youth, but tremendous finish. I love the behind the back because you don't have the time to switch to your left hand. When you wrap it around your head, you increase your angle by about 3 or 4 feet. So, nifty move by Regan Quinn.
Got a timeout, and Virginia up 3-0 in this game in dominating fashion. Women's Sweet 16 continues this afternoon on ESPN. 2 matches from Spokane. Notre Dame takes on Texas A&M at 4 Eastern. Then it's Oregon squaring off against one of the Cinderellas in this tournament, Central Michigan. Remember, all games are streaming live on the ESPN app. It's all presented by Capital One, so check it out this afternoon. What's been the key here so far for Virginia in terms of being able to dominate this first 4 or 5 minutes of this game?
Well, they're 3 for 3 in regards to canning their shots. That always helps. But it's all about the momentum. This is a high-octane offense that needs a lot of touches, and they're controlling tempo.
9-1 on shots for Virginia.
Play a little softer, a little tighter, and move. All right?
Good look at Lars Tiffany there, Virginia head coach. Second season, had so much success in Brown, took the Bears to 3 NCAA tournaments. Very distinctive style, too, Card.
Yeah, that's a team that wants to get up and down, use their poles, and play with relentless pressure. You saw the 9 shots. I mean, if you get around 50 in a game, you're going to score 15 goals. They have 9 shots. Their 3 shots on goal are all canned today to give them this 3-0 lead. So when they're getting it on cage, they're canning them.
Opportunity to see Hunter Moreland. Clark was talking about how much success he's had for the Blue Jays at the dot. We're going to get a violation here, and it's going to go over to Virginia. Here come the Cavs again.
See, they could play 5-on-5 potentially if Hunter Moreland right now is caught on the field, a face-off specialist who they don't want him to play too much offense or defense on the 6-on-6.
Laviano, slide comes, dislodging the ball, and now here comes Hopkins. On the break, good opportunity. Shot, whistled it wide of the cage that time. Kyle Marr had a really good look. I think it probably goes without saying, 5.5 minutes into this game, Paul. Hopkins needs a good offensive possession here, if nothing else, to give that D a little bit of a chance to rest, and it worked for a good shot.
Yeah, run through your progressions, run your offense, don't panic. The key thing is to put Virginia in a spot where there's conflict, right here in the 2-man game. To me, you'll see a ton of that. A lot of picking, repicking, forcing Virginia to communicate and fight through picks. Give them an early dose of that if you're Johns Hopkins.
Patrick Frazier. Jack Keogh here. Freshman, loses his feet, gets back up. And we're going to get a flag. Delayed call against Virginia.
Will be a push, 30 seconds.
Stanwyck now head up. Keogh behind the cage. Shot, misses the cage. Virginia's going to win the race to the end line. Let's see what the call is.
3, 4, pushes him with possession, 30 seconds.
John Fox, the junior from New Canaan, defensive midfielder. An opportunity here for Hopkins. Take a look at the call.
Is it from the rear? Yeah, that's a good call.
Right in the small.
Yeah, got him from the back. You know, if you throw him to the ground it's from the front, no biggie. That one clearly from the back.
Hopkins, 33% man up. This is an opportunity for them. And Coach Petromalis said, look, we were 60% last year, one of the best years in lacrosse history. Shot off the pipe. But they haven't been quite as good this year.
It's a good point. That unit was big-time feared across the country a season ago.
10 seconds left now in the penalty to Virginia. Laviano and company will work that clock down and go back to working even strength in the offensive end.
See, if you see 55, Joel Tinney, it looks like he's shutting Dox Aiken. If you're Virginia, play 5-on-5.
Shot. Oh, can't quite pull the trigger. Back to Kraus.
Identify if it's still a 5-on-5 set, because that puts a lot of pressure on the opposing defense. Takes them out of their normal defensive slide package. It looks like Hopkins is able to regroup and get back into that 6-on-6, get Tinney off of Aiken. Oh, you hear the Hopkins staff saying too many. Virginia, it looks like they took a timeout. They saw that. And a good call by Lars Tiffany, so didn't have to lose the ball.
It's all going Virginia's way early. 3-0, Wahoo's on top.
Old Spice.
Lead over Johns Hopkins at Klockner Stadium. Chris Cotter and Paul Carcaterra here with you for the call today. Gotten off to a good start here for Virginia. You talk about a Virginia team 0-2 in conference, but 7-2 overall. They haven't, this team hasn't won, this senior class hasn't won an ACC game yet. If they can somehow get the win today, it's a nice feather in their cap out of conference.
Indeed. First of all, it's good to get back with you, brother. I thought I was lifting weights until I stood next to you. But in any event, yeah, this Virginia team, really interesting. Haven't won an ACC game in 4 years. But the ACC and the Big Ten, those are gauntlets. When you look at the regular season fight through those conferences, it is a huge mountain to climb. So I look at this matchup between the ACC, Virginia, and the Big Ten, Johns Hopkins. The bottom line is this game is all about street cred.
Right.
I do believe, regardless of what happens in the conference, when Selection Sunday rolls around in May, the winner of this game will get an at-large bid.
And it's a Hopkins team that started the year, Paul, 1-2, and some people may have left them for dead, but they've won 4 in a row and have played much better lacrosse during that streak. Now, this, for them, is a huge out-of-conference game as far as the level of talent that they're playing and on the road, so it'll be a big win for them, too. Shot. It's a score on the rebound, and Laviano is right in the right spot.
You have Kraus, the magnificent Dodger, and then Laviano, DeMario, Stafford, those other attackmen are finishers, and they're opportunistic in regards to maximizing any opportunity, whether it's finishing or picking up some trash.
Laviano, another one of those freshmen. His 22nd goal, that leads all freshmen in Division I lacrosse. So he has come onto the scene in a big way. You talk about efficiency offensively too. Hopkins is making the most, or I should say Virginia is making the most of their possessions. 5 goals on 5 shots on goal right now. They're on target, making the best use of also unsettled situations. Seems like they're getting a lot of those. Schwenk and Moreland battling at the dot. Moreland clamps down and wins possession for Hopkins. Blue Jays now methodically looking to clear. Sam Lynch brings it into the box. This is where Hopkins will set up shop. Trailing 4-0 in the contest. Cole Williams, haven't heard much from him yet. Big attackman fires a shot over the cage.
Physical matchup nightmare, 14 in blue. He turns the corner, he's 6'5", 220 pounds. He's got soft hands for a big guy, too, and really, really came on the scene against Syracuse this year.
Cole couldn't handle the pass that time. Hopkins keeps possession. Skip pass over here to Kincannon. Thought about it, thought better of it. DeSimone, shot, couldn't get all on it. Well defended that time by Logan Greco.
If I'm Hopkins, I'm really working this Virginia defense off ball.
Stanwyck. Here's DeSimone.
One guy has the ball, the other 5 have to be moving at a frenetic pace if you're a Johns Hopkins Blue Jay fan. Get into the Achilles heel of this Virginia defense, which is off ball.
Kincannon loses the handle, gets it back. He's got Dave Smith on him, so good to see Smith back in the game. He was shaking up a bit earlier. Kincannon just working on that. Goal line extended, couldn't find anything, brings it back out. Here's DeSimone. Got the shorty on him. Can't break free. Now Stanwyck. Bounce shot. Deflected right in front of the mouth of the goal. Cole Williams finally sees it. Fortunately for Virginia, it goes right into the crease and into Alex Rhodes' cross. Goaltender, another freshman making the start today for Virginia. Hadn't seen a whole lot of rubber yet, as Hopkins, even the shots they've had, have not really been on target.
Huge expectations for Rhodes coming to Charlottesville. Possibly the best goalie in high school lacrosse a season ago. That's a little bit different of a style if you watch his hands.
Virginia looking to attack again. Krause. Out front, shot. Smith can't find on Cage. Can't put it on Cage, and Turnbull is there for the save. Here comes Hopkins. Once again, shot deflected over the top.
Virginia known as a team that loves to run. Coach Petramala made no mistake about it. He wants to run with a runner, especially when it's defense to offense. They want to play settled defense on the other side of the field, but when they have their offensive opportunities in transition, they will attempt to run against the Cavaliers.
With the left bounce shot, again, misses the Cage. That time it was Thomas Guida, who we weren't even sure was going to play in this game. Banged up a little bit, has a reoccurring lower body injury, but he's in there right now. Stanwyck. There's Guida. Right-handed shot right into the cross of Alex Rhodes.
This is where they're dangerous.
Fox in front, shot, score! No, waved off. Cameron Stafford was in the crease. They waved it off, and we go the other way with the left. Saved by Rhodes, score on the rebound.
Unbelievable up and down action. It starts with a no goal from Cameron Stafford. Let me tell you, this is one of the best no goals you'll see. This tells me everything about 11 White's finishing ability. To put the stick across his body while he's falling, unbelievable effort. But on the other side, it creates a quick whistle and a transition opportunity for Johns Hopkins. And like I said, when they can run from defense to offense, they're all about it. They just don't want the Cavaliers to play transition offense. When they're playing defense, they want it settled. But they will run from their defensive end to the offensive end.
Frazier is mostly a catch and shoot kind of guy. Well, on the break, you know Coach Petramala loves seeing that because he's talked about Frazier being maybe a little spooked in terms of his shooting percentage recently. Get a fast break goal right there to break out of it. Shot off Cage.
And sometimes you need that. Frazier is a lefty sniper, a hired gun on the extra man, but you want him to find some versatility. Get some confidence with one of those off shot type of opportunities for him. I mean, he's always planting his feet from the top left. Mix it up a little bit.
Dox Aiken now setting things up. Lawson Pisani, big kid. At Aspen, Colorado now with the ball at his cross. Over to Moore, the freshman, Dox Aiken. Looking for space, shoots and scores. We got a flag down, let's check the call. going to get a push on it. Goal's going to stand.
You'll see Aiken and his feet land in the crease, but as a result of the push, Aiken just a physical matchup nightmare for any short stick. He's got 4 or 5 inches on Danny Jones, throw another 30 pounds. Brute force reigns supreme right there for 6 and white. That's saying something. Fastest midfielder in UVA history for 50. I mean, you got to think about guys like J.J. Albert and Chris Rotelli, a Tewaaraton Trophy winner. I mean, there's been some stud midfielders, Kyle Dixon, the list goes on. And for this kid to hit 50 this early in his career, wow.
Moreland and Schwenk battle it out again. 2 of the better face-off men in the country, and possession's going to go to Virginia. Pushing the pace once again. Here comes Maloney. Full head of steam. Shot. Score!
The bench is feeling it. And let me tell you, the body language and the difference between the first quarter last week in South Bend against Notre Dame and right now is alarming, to say the least. This is a total meathead dodge. Just, I'm bigger,
is that
faster,
a technical
stronger.
term?
Yeah, he just meatheads his way through that. Defensive midfielder, a short stick, a guy that can be a utility type player for Virginia on the wings. You love it when you see those kind of guys score, the guys who typically don't hit the back of the net. Something different when the bench erupts.
No question about it. Maloney gives the Cavs a 5-goal lead right now. Just over 2 minutes left to go in this first quarter. And Virginia set this Klockner Stadium alight with their start today. As Paul and I mentioned when we were on camera earlier, they're 0-2 in conference play. They still have Duke on the schedule. This is a big opportunity for Virginia to get a much-needed win, and Schwenk wins the draw. Ball dislodged, though. Nice play that time by Tal Bruno to knock it loose.
You know, speaking with Quint Kesenick about this matchup, too, and he mentioned something that's really noteworthy. This is the first time Hopkins has played on grass. You see some of these guys slipping around and getting their traction.
Tough angle shot. Frazier couldn't connect, or I should say Williams.
And you know where that's really big too, Chris, is at the face-off X for a guy like Hunter Moreland. The legs. It's a lot more taxing on your feet, your legs, your stance, everything when you're digging into that soft spring grass as opposed to the field turf that you've practiced and played on all season long thus far.
Kesnick talking about field surfaces, huh? He's dealing with ice and mats right now. The field is the last thing on his mind.
Time.
He's got hockey, he's got wrestling. There's Matt Moore, freshman from Garnet Valley, PA. One of this highly regarded class that Virginia's brought in this past year. The last 2 classes have been sensational for Lars Tiffany. Kids want to play this style, I guess.
Who wouldn't want to play this style?
Up and down.
I mean, if you're an offensive player and when the green light is just on almost at all times, of course you want to play it.
Here's one of those sophomores, Mikey Herring, behind the cage.
But for this offense really to click, you have to have the poles and the defensive midfielders handle the ball in transition. That's why they were so good at Brown. They had Larkin Kemp, Alec Tulloch, guys who could go from defense to offense. That will be key for Virginia in this game, this season, and moving forward.
They're off.
Final 22 seconds of this first quarter, owned by the Cavs.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Here's Quinn now. Herring again, looking to get a shot. Under 10 seconds. Inside. Not a good angle. Saved by Turnbaugh. That's going to wrap it up for the first quarter. First quarter, certainly that Lars Tiffany and the Virginia Cavs hoped for. A 6-1 lead at Klockner. Thanks to some beautiful moves that time by Regan Quinn and others. Aiken get involved. Cavs off to a great start. Pretty cool and a special moment here for Danny Jones to be able to put on number 23 here in Klockner. Hasn't gone the way of his Blue Jays, though, yet. It's 6-1 right now, Virginia on top. And possession again, Dave Smith wins it for the Cavs. Can they keep it? They cannot. Goes right back over to Johns Hopkins. Let's see what the Blue Jays can do now offensively. Long pass over the top.
I think they're going to call that a shot.
Call it a shot. That's
Hopkins closest to the ball when it went out of bounds.
It's actually
a shot.
Smart play.
Yeah, real smart.
I'm not sure I agree with how it's called, but it is. Those are the rules. Joel Tinney now been quiet. Quiet first quarter for Joel Tinney. Really didn't even mention his name.
You feel like the Hopkins offense as a whole really hasn't even had opportunities. D. Simone, a freshman who's really starting to feel comfortable in college lacrosse.
Here's Tinney being checked by Jared Connors. He's been banged up a little bit, hurt a little bit in that Dartmouth game midweek. Concannon, he's finally healthy. Coach loves his energy. Shot, saved by Rode. That's 3 saves now by Rode in the game. Virginia's coming the other way. Here's Connors. Already has 3 goals on the year. He's not afraid to pull the trigger.
It is 6-1, and if you're the Cavaliers, you do not want to change any tempo in this game. You want to play complete, fast tempo lacrosse end to end and not give Hopkins any opportunity really to get settled in that half-field offense or defense.
Kuhn on Aiken. There's Kraus. Foley's on him, the freshman. Shot, saved by Turnbaugh.
Foley really getting accustomed to these big-time matchups. Had a guard Pat Spencer from Loyola, Michael Sowers from Princeton. Those are 2 of the great attackmen in college lacrosse. Let me tell you, if the season ended right now, Patrick Foley, for my money, is a first-team All-American defender.
He's a freshman. Actually, he's a junior out of Winchester, Mass. But you're right, he is getting a taste of the best attackmen from all of these teams, including Michael Kraus today. That's Brett Baskin. Opportunity to see this young freshman right here, who coach says is coming along really well. Frazier, dislodged, but we're gonna get a call. Waiting the call here.
White, 8, illegal body check, 1 minute. White, 8, illegal body check, 1. 8 white, illegal body check.
Corey Harris, serve a minute. See right here on the other side of Frazier. Oof. They're gonna call that every time. He drilled them, 10 years ago, probably not a flag, Chris. 2018, you're gonna serve some time.
Hopkins 0 for 1 so far in this game with a man up. Another opportunity here, big opportunity.
45 in the penalty.
Down low and couldn't quite get a very good shot off Joel Tinney. It's going to stay with Hop. Stanwyck couldn't connect with the cutter. Clock's off a little bit here. We've got a little less time on this man up.
20 in the penalty, 20.
Frazier, shot, saved by Rode. If it even got through at all. That was a rocket. There's going to be a push in the back right there. It's going to go to Hopkins.
7, 6, 5, 4.
That clock on our screen's probably
A little off.
10 seconds off.
Released, full strength. Stanwick double teamed. Virginia gains possession.
This is what they want.
Smith on the move. Back check coming, got rid of it to Aiken. Now we're gonna get a call against Hopkins. Aiken with a shot over the cage. Hopkins is now gonna have to sit.
A lot of laundry thus far here,
Yeah.
Chris. End-to-end action, penalty, penalty.
Body check. 1 minute.
Tenney will sit for a minute. Take another look at this call here, Paul.
Joel Tinney's used to roughing guys up in the box up in Canada. But that's not a smart play by him. I mean, ball's been dislodged already from the back. For a senior, you want him to play with a little more poise.
Oh, by the way, Virginia's 2 for 2 man up in this game. And they already have a 5-goal lead, so.
Well, here's the thing. 5-goal lead, 6-1, and Michael Krause, outside of that first dodge, they haven't had to use him much. And you're probably happy if you're Sean Kerwin, the offensive coordinator, getting all these other pieces involved.
Aiken here, shot, saved by Turnbaugh. 5 saves for Turnbaugh, and we go the other way here. Hopkins will look to kill this penalty. Stanwick will walk this one out. Double team coming after him.
20 in a penalty, 20.
Now Cole Williams,
15 in a penalty,
6'5", 210 pounds.
10.
Some of the best flow in all of college lacrosse, too. He's got a lot working for him.
He's 2018's version of Colin Heacock from Maryland a year ago, who won a national title for the Terps, ending that drought from 1975. And Heacock, what a character he was, along with Rambo. Just a lot of laughs down in College Park with those guys.
Maryland just reloading this year, too. Very good still.
Oh, yeah.
Bernhardt getting more involved now offensively.
Bubba Fairman, the freshman from Utah.
Good. Williams now. Shot over the cage.
If you watch the Virginia defense right now, they're packing it in. They're asking Johns Hopkins right now to beat them from the outside, because that tells me one thing. They're starting to have confidence in this young goalie. Protect the paint, make Hopkins beat you with outside shots.
Guida now. That's Williams.
Look how packed in it is. Look at all those white shirts.
Williams now working on Greco. Timeout on the field. Virginia leading 6-1. 8.5 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Furious action in the first quarter, slowing down a little bit here in the second. We've had a lot of laundry on the field to kind of chop up the play. Good look at Shaq Stanwick. Behind number 45 there, the Blue Jays. Latest in a long line of Stanwicks. 8 brothers and sisters. Over 1,100 career goals.
Yeah, Sheehan started it all at Georgetown. She was amazing in terms of her offensive game. And
the numbers are like Gretzky-esque.
Unreal. And you look at all of the Division I lacrosse players from the Stanwick family. That is one family. There's the father. And that's Tad to the left. Tad played at Rutgers. And Mr. Stanwick, just an amazing father in terms of promoting the game of lacrosse. Those guys, their Steele too was on his right. That's the whole family.
So we've got some more goals left to come, as you can see. All those youngsters.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Everyone thinks, oh, 8 kids, 8 scholarships, so easy. Oh, no. These are elite lacrosse players. In regards to what they were able to do, it's not the norm. So if you're watching this game saying, oh, my kid's going to play lacrosse, he's going to go here or there.
20 All-American seasons.
A lot of sweat. And the Stanwicks, unbelievable in terms of their mark in the game of lacrosse. But when you do talk about scholarships, that is a lot of money that old man saved, right? You think about that. If you were to calculate all that dough, woof.
It's schools, by the way, a lot of them that aren't exactly cheap when it comes to
No, dinner's
footing
on
the bill.
Mr. Stanwyck tonight. You didn't have to pay for all that college. And Steele to the right is a Johns Hopkins University women's lacrosse coach.
That's right.
So he's infused some different types of offensive patterns and system in the Blue Jays as well.
By the way, Shaq has a 55-game scoring streak coming into this game, just one shy of Terry Reardon's school record. And he's yet to score today. I'm sure that if that doesn't change, it's bad news for Hop.
And I haven't met all of the Stanwicks, but I'll tell you see the traditional pocket too, the leather. That's a call out for the Stanwicks too. I think their father strings all their sticks, or I know he strings all their sticks. But I will tell you, every Stanwyck that I've ever met, wonderful, wonderful people.
Well, Shaq's got to get something going here offensively for Johns Hopkins and his Blue Jay teammates, because they've only been able to beat Alex Road once. Shot on goal, missed the cage that time by Kyle Marr.
I like the play by offensive coordinator Bobby Benson, having guys come off picks because of all the congestion with the Virginia defense inside.
Stanwyck now behind the cage. That's Concannon. Got the shorty on him. Can he get some space? Here comes the slide. Backs off. Williams up top. Tinney. DeSimone, the freshman. Stanwyck now. Hopkins patient offensively. DeSimone gets a pick. Back to Stanwyck from the X. Shot. Road makes the save. Big ground ball here. Stanwyck and a teammate collide, but it looks like it's going to stay with Hopkins. Scott Hooper couldn't quite corral it. Tinney, cross pass, shot, Road with the save. Fifth save for Road. That might be his best of the game so far. Here comes Virginia. Smith on his horse. Kraus. Off a pick. Finds a little bit of space, but got mixed up on that shot. Sails high, and Virginia retains possession.
Left side of the screen, Alex Road, the freshman. Top goalie in all of high school lacrosse a season ago. Ultra fast hands.
Young man out of St. Paul's, plying his trade now with the Who's, making his fourth start of the year. He and Griffin Thompson have been splitting time in cage, but Road gets the call today.
I thought Road looked good in that second half against Notre Dame a week ago, and I think that probably gave the coaching staff some confidence moving forward. Okay, this guy's ready, because it's tough to win on the road. It's tough to play on the road. They didn't win that game, but he delivered.
Shot with the left wide of the cage that time. Mike DeMario.
Look for Kraus to go here. I think he wants to test Foley again.
Oh, skip past nicely, but unfortunately that time couldn't quite keep his feet. Moore went down, so they'll reset. Quinn. Slide comes.
If you were to tell me that with about 5 minutes left, that Hopkins would only have one goal in this game, I would tell you you're nuts.
Owen Colwell there checking Matt Moore. Here's Kraus. Tries to question mark, we got a call.
I love the defense by Hopkins. When you watch that slide, they slid once Michael Kraus's head was turned, so he couldn't see where the slide was coming from. A perfectly timed double by the Blue Jays.
Hopkins wins possession, now looking to clear. Again, only one goal, 5.5 left to go in the first half. And a turnover, and it goes right back to Virginia. Will Rock looking for some help, and he's found some.
Will Rock's had a couple big ground balls.
Yeah. One of them right off the opening faceoff, which led to a Virginia goal, first of the day. Now Mikey Herring sets up.
Another youngster,
yeah.
Only a freshman. There's freshmen everywhere, littered on this Virginia roster.
Inside, nice look. Nice save by Turnbaugh, too, turning away Laviano. Virginia looked to counter again. Aiken, score!
Dox Aiken is one of the finest midfielders in college lacrosse. His athleticism, his versatility, and his ability to hammer it down on his outside shot is what makes 6 in white a total stud. Seen early in his freshman season with a couple game winners. And when you watched him on tape, the confidence for this freshman a season ago, you just knew his sophomore year he was going to make that next step and not just be an outside shooter and be one of the best overall midfielders in all of college lacrosse. It's his athleticism, his toughness too. Lars Tiffany said there's a few guys on this team, when you look in their eyes, you can tell they want it. 6 in white is one of them.
Kyle Prouty right now at the dot for Hopkins. Schwenk has had a very good first half for Virginia. Hunter Moreland, we mentioned him coming in, how much success he's had, especially recently. But right now, Petramala going with Prouty. The freshman Fogo here for the Blue Jays.
Stylistically, sometimes it just doesn't make sense to go with the same guy all the time. Now, Prouty, in practice every day, he might get beaten really bad by Moreland, but he might have something in terms of his technique that changes things up in regards to how Schwenk will counter, or how Schwenk will think about getting that clamp or raking. It's a different dynamic when you throw a different guy at him.
Schwenk has won 8 of his 10 faceoffs today, and that's been a big key for Virginia as they have just owned possession in this game. Here's Maloney. Scored a goal earlier on a bull dodge. Moore, freshman with Colwell on him. Double comes. Now Moore finds a little bit of space, goes with the left, misses the cage.
You know what I like about Lars Tiffany, too? He's showing some playing time to some new guys. Maloney didn't get a ton of run against Notre Dame. Guys like Stafford are in the lineup. That tells me they're competing in practice.
Oh, shovel shot, and at first Turnbaugh couldn't find it, but he ends up sitting on it. And a good opportunity that time for Virginia goes by the board, but
left side of the screen. Yeah, this is his 7th save of the game. And you look at the problems for Hopkins, it certainly has not been Turnbaugh's fault. Virginia has shot the ball really well. He hasn't let up any soft goals. I mean, they're right on top of this kid.
DeMario with a great opportunity, just good save by Turnbaugh. Now, what can Hopkins do offensively now?
I want to see more of the two-man game. That was a big concern for Lars Tiffany this week, too, defending the two-man game.
Guida just missed the pass that time, and here we go with Virginia the other way. Guida giving chase, but a full head of steam for Connor. Shot, score! Laviano makes it 8-1 Cavs.
This is what Laviano does. A perfect complement to a high-octane end-to-end offense. He's a finisher, a goal-scoring sniper. And when he drops his stick, he typically likes to go with a high riser. And as a freshman, he's been putting up some big numbers. The question with Laviano is, can he develop a little bit of a dodging game to take some pressure off of Krause? But when you're in transition, this kid is money.
And the question for Dave Petramala is, what am I going to do to stem this tide right now? Because the lead has grown to 7, and his offense can't put anything together. A critical 2:48 in this game, too, right now, as Hopkins wins yet another possession here on the faceoff.
Ouch.
And missing Marr on the opportunity.
You know, the face-off stat sheet will have Hopkins winning that one. But unless you can develop some type of offensive flow off of the face-off and ultimately a possession,
right.
It doesn't matter.
Not only do you lose possession, but you lose a scoring opportunity with Marr wide open on a wing. Danny Jones wins it back, though, for Hopkins. Now an opportunity. Marr, saved by Rode.
I'm watching this kid, and as Marr's about to shoot, I'm saying to myself, where's the net? This is a big kid who is covering a ton of the net. Frustrating for an offensive player because you're in your backswing, right? And you're thinking, where am I shooting? He's got that wide base. He's a big kid, and then he just flops to that opposite corner. This freshman is feeling it.
Possession back to Hopkins. Under 2 to play in the first half. Look at the shooting percentage right there. And when Hopkins has gotten it on cage, Rode has been right there. Tending now to Concannon. We have not seen Brenton Vallis. Not sure if he's hurt today or what, but Concannon, now healthy, has really assumed that top midfield spot right now for Johns Hopkins.
And Vallis was a guy off ball that was really starting to feel comfortable. But if you're a Hopkins fan, don't panic, because the way that Virginia plays, you will have opportunities to close this gap. This isn't a team that's accustomed to just playing ring around the rosy when they get a lead. They're going to continue to take some chances, and Hopkins will have opportunities, even at 8-1.
Tenney with Will Rock, the freshman, on him. This is Stanwyck. Tries to go to his right and shut down that time nicely by Hooper.
Easy, Quint. And that's not Kesenic.
Marr, shot clock now. Shot, score! DeSimone, the freshman, gives Hopkins some life.
I love 3 and Blue's game. I mean, this is a kid who is a chameleon offensively. Played attack in high school, played midfield in high school, can beat you from behind the cage, has an excellent outside stretch shot, which you see here. But what he does better than anything on that shot is Logan Greco comes out and really tries to press on him. He shoots it off that shoulder, and Rode does not get a clear look at the shot of DeSimone.
41 seconds, second quarter.
Hopkins was almost in need of a bigger boat. Got that goal by DeSimone, though, now cutting it to 6, and maybe more importantly, final minute of this first half, Paul, to build a little momentum going into the half, knowing that you can beat Rode and you can put some points on the board.
Indeed. Do you think our audience even knows there's another Quint outside of Kesenic?
I'm not sure who's more likable. Quint, the boat captain from Jaws, or Quint Kesenic to our audience? I have to pose that as a Twitter question, maybe. Virginia wins possession. We'll get a timeout here with 24 seconds left to go. One final opportunity for Lars Tiffany's crew to maybe put goal number 9 on the board. Kraus now with 100 points becomes the second fastest Cavalier in the program's history to get to 100 points.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think of the 2 sophomores, Aiken getting 50 goals and Kraus 100 points, because Kraus's versatility with his ability to pass, second fastest. The first guy to reach 100 in less games, Kevin Pelkey, who I think is one of the most underrated attackmen in Virginia history. You know about the great attackmen like the Matt Wards and the Danny Gladdings and the Steele Stanwicks and Watson Knight, Whiteley, all those guys. Kevin Pelkey in the early 90s, because Virginia wasn't going to championship weekend, he was incredible.
There's a look at Michael Kraus. 4 points on the day, 100 for his career. Like so many players that we talk about, Paul, too, he's got family connections.
Oh, his dad was one of the greatest face-off men ever. Not only in Virginia, but in college lacrosse. And then his uncle, Andy Kraus, was more than just a face-off guy, a utility midfielder who could play all over the field, just an incredible stud athlete, just looked different on the field. And then brother Peter was with Michigan in those early stages of when Michigan went from club to Division I lacrosse. But what I love about Michael Krause's game, and Coach Petromalo said it, he is a bear. Physically, I said it earlier, you look at him, you're like, not much, but when you take a really close look at him, his legs, it's almost like a running back, like one of those guys that's just a low center of gravity, bigger hips, bigger thighs, and just a bear to deal with on goal line extended. And when you push him out and you overextend, he goes underneath you. You play behind him, he can go out front. He is a really hard matchup.
Final 20 seconds of the first half. Virginia looking to extend their lead. They've gotten off to such a great start here at Klockner. There's Krause. Foley doing a nice job. He spins and scores. Or does he?
That looked like a goal.
It is.
And that is exactly what I mean. This is pretty good defense. But this kid just has options because he's a righty, he's a lefty. He feels the pressure, so Foley gets aggressive at his top side, he rolls underneath. If Foley was to play behind him, he's gonna shoot with really quick, snappy wrists. So you see Foley gets a little bit too aggressive. Krause wants you to contact him. He's begging for that. I think the only way really to guard this guy is to get all over him behind the cage once ball movement occurs and he catches the ball. You can't let him get any momentum on you.
6.9 to go in this first half. Hunter Moreland back at the X for Hop. Justin Schwenks had a very good first half. Clock winding down. Moreland is going to win this one, maybe for confidence. Then a shot on goal that Rode makes the final save of what's been a stellar first half for him and his entire Virginia team. 9-2, Paul. Virginia with the lead. And a lot of different Cavs have gotten involved. Laviano with the blistering low to high. And then Dox Aiken. Another rocket from the outside, beating Turnbull. 9-2. Virginia on top of the half.
How great is that picture, too? That's what makes lacrosse amazing, too. The fraternity feel and the camaraderie and bridging generations.
Yeah. He was coach at Virginia from 78 to 92, so a good time at Virginia for lacrosse as they started to become a real national power going into the 90s. It's all about the last 30 minutes of this game right now, though, for Hopkins. They've really got to do something different than they did in that first half when they built themselves this 7-goal deficit. Moreland back at the X for Hopkins, and he wins possession. They've been a second-half team, as you can see this year. They're really going to have to be today. But to our point about style of play, Paul, I mean, with Virginia, they're not going to change what they do. So there'll be possessions that can be had.
Yeah, look, if you're down 9-2 against, I don't know, maybe even 70% of college lacrosse, you're toast. Because they will slow the ball down, they will slow the game down, and put you in a position where you just can't come from behind from 7 goals. However, Virginia likes to play up and down. They turn the ball over. There's going to be opportunities.
Like one right here. DeSimone thought about it, decided better, though. Got a shorty on him. What can he do? Spins back to his left.
See, if I'm DeSimone, I'm demanding the ball back. I want this short stick matchup if I'm 3 and blue. So the next time it spins around, go for a ride.
Williams shakes the defender and scores.
And then there are certain players where it doesn't matter if you're being defended by a 6-foot pole or a short stick. And Cole Williams, because of his size, strength, and lacrosse skill, at 6'5", 210 pounds, with a quick lefty release, that dude is tough to deal with. And he's played 2 positions over the course of his career, too, so he will dodge you in different spots. You saw him on a high goal line extended, almost like a midfield dodge there. I've seen him become a serious matchup issue from behind as well. He's the tallest player on the team, and he's got the best hair, hands down.
Our graphics said possibly the longest hair. I didn't realize Ted Nugent was suiting up for Hopkins because he's the only one that could possibly have longer hair.
It's not just long. It looks like he might blow dry that hair. What do you think?
He sits under one of those blow dryers that they have in the salon. Possession to Virginia. Off the face-off, Schwenk wins another, and here come the Cavaliers.
Let's hear from Twitter. Does Cole Williams blow dry his hair? It'd be a good Twitter poll.
We got a flag. We're gonna have too many. We're gonna have an offsides with too many players on the field. Looks like that's gonna be the case now for Virginia as they switch off here. The call is gonna go against Hopkins.
I think Kyle Marr is offsides because he's an attackman right now on the defensive end. So if you're offsides, you might as well stay. So double the ball if you're Johns Hopkins here.
Quinn, head up. Looking for a cutter. Skip pass. That's Moore. Couldn't get a whole lot on the shot. It's going to go out of bounds, and we'll get the call.
Yeah, this is offsides. I think it's 13 in blue, Kyle Marr. As an attackman, you got to stay on, obviously, your side of the field.
Clear the box, guys. Clear the box. Right, 23, you're up. Blue. 1-3. He's offside. Technically 13.
Yep, it's Kyle Marr, 13 in blue. You know, that's a communication issue sometimes because it's okay for an attackman to go over. You just have to communicate and make sure one of those midfielders stays.
Midi back. Opportunity man up here for Virginia. They were 2 for 3 in the first half. Skip pass. Moore. Saved by Turnbaugh.
Nice stop. Big stop. Early stages of the third. You just got a goal. Can't be going 1 for 1 with the Cavs here.
8th save of the game for Turnbaugh. He's played well. Even strength now for Williams. Double comes and he scores. Williams is on fire here in the second half, Paul.
There's Cornell, one of the biggest Hopkins fans of all time, feeling it for his Jays. The stop by Turnbull. Not all saves are created equally. Your team wants to go on a run. Stop the bleeding. And then Cole Williams, look at Logan Greco. He is a lefty defender. So he has to go cross forearm against a guy 6'5", 210, just out of position. Cole Williams smells that out and just takes it to Greco.
John Fox recognized that he was just a step too slow to slide to Williams, and he has 2 goals now on 2 shots here in the second half, and Hopkins may be feeling it a little bit.
Cole Williams, 6'5", Greco, 6 feet. He's got that long wingspan. That's the thing, you can be playing decent defense. There he was out of possession because he's cross forearm and he's lunging a little bit, so he's losing his hips and his feet. Cole Williams senses that out and just rips it.
Schwenk initially had the advantage here, but now it's just a scrum. Moreland wins it initially, loses it again. As Smith was all over him, the call is going to go against Virginia with a push here, and Hopkins will gain possession. As Petro works his substitution pattern, Jack Keogh coming in, getting some playing time today. With Vallis not seeing any time. Here's Williams again, finds some space, and Rode makes that save. And that is really unfortunate when you're trying to make a run.
It looked like Guido might have been out of bounds there, too. It looked originally like Hopkins was going to retain possession. But Cole Williams, just keep feeding that big boy, right? I mean, until you could show me that you could stop this guy, if I'm Hopkins, it's a good stop by Rowe, just position Made it look easy. Drilled on the hand there, but just keeping his ground and patient on the shot. A lot of young goalies will anticipate and get jumpy. He stood on the shot there.
There's Aiken, slide comes. Kraus now working with Laviano behind. Kraus couldn't get it through. Blocked in front by Foley. Virginia originally with possession, now back with it with Smith. Oh, tried to make the extra pass that time. Laviano looking for Stafford right at the doorstep.
If I'm Virginia, I'm going with a decent dose of 11 and White Stafford. The few times I've seen him force-fed, now that one was a bad pass that he had no shot at, but just those little things that he's shown me in terms of just catching the ball in traffic. I'd like to see him get some serious reps in this second half, 11 and White.
Hopkins now trying to clear. Tinney now gets it into the restraining box, and Marr and company will set up shop offensively. Close the gap here early in the second half. Was 7 at the break, now it's 5.
Where's 14? Give him the ball, right? Why not?
He's inverted now behind the goal at the X. Here's DeSimone.
And if I'm Cole Williams, 14 in blue, I understand that the next time I dodge, there's going to be a quick slide. So recognize that and become a passer.
Stanwyck now out front. So they've moved Stanwyck out front here. You got Williams behind the cage. Marr. Now Stanwyck setting the pick 2-man for Concannon.
See here early. That means Virginia is sliding to 14 in blue with the ball here early, even before he beats his guy. See the double right there. Recognize it. Make the defense spin.
You saw Tinney wanted with the cross pass, wanted to find Marr, just couldn't quite do it.
You hear 25 on the shot clock.
So the officials put the shot clock on. It wasn't initially started. We'll have 25 on it right now with 8:48 left to go here in the third quarter. Get an explanation. Okay, now we got it. Just adjusting the shot clock. So the clock is on for Hopkins.
There's Coach Petro, always intense, always giving 100% of passion.
Stanwyck. Question mark, can't get it on goal. There's Williams, though, backing it up. Scrum for it down low, and Virginia's going to come up with it.
Tell you, Chris, Rock, the freshman right there that just scooped that ground ball up. He's had some big ground balls today.
We thought we'd see a little bit more of him with Jared Connors banged up in the game against Dartmouth midweek, and we have seen a lot of number 9, Will Rock, long stick midi, and he's been fantastic.
And I mentioned it early. Brown in 2016, when they were 1 goal away from going to a national championship, their poles in the middle of the field were the difference makers. Larkin Kemp, Alec Tullett. Those guys changed the way Brown played lacrosse.
And a heck of a ride that time by Hopkins to get possession back, and a great check. They're going to have an opportunity here. Score! What a play by Kyle Marr to initially lose possession and then gain it back, Paul, muscling his way to the front of the net.
When you play the Cavaliers, you have to buckle up because of tempo. The flip side of that is you will get your opportunities, and you're not dead in the water even when you're down a bunch. Hopkins has some life behind this Kyle Marr goal.
Covering the hockey postseason, as that's getting started here on ESPN. Was just covering wrestling. The guy is a man of many talents. Of course, he was a great wrestler in high school too. Virginia, Connors, I mentioned he has 3 goals already this year, so he will pull the trigger, but he wins possession. Now Virginia looking to stem the tide. Hopkins has scored 3 straight. Get themselves right back into this thing first part of the second half here, so Virginia will look to pick up their first goal here in the second half. Chris Cotter, Paul Carcaterra with you today. Beautiful day for lacrosse here at Klockner. Always a good crowd. You're watching the ACC on ESPN at a conference game for Virginia and Hopkins. We've talked about it quite a bit. Be a nice feather. Neither one of these teams caps to get this non-conference win. Quinn really thought about pulling the trigger. Instead, he finds Laviano, but snagged right out of the air by Turnbaugh.
It's a tough feed for the freshman Quinn when there's traffic and a goalie who's facing you as the feeder. That's easy to just pick that off. So it looks like Virginia now is sliding instantly to 14 in blue. Cole Williams. Need some other guys to assert themselves as Dodgers. Can Shaq Stanwyck turn the corner from behind? Can Connor DeSimone create some offense and give guys like Kyle Marr some time and room off the slides where he can spray it?
Here's Williams now. Greco on him. Jump, shot, Road with the save. That's 10 saves for the freshman. Alex Road making his 4th start of the year in goal for the Hoos. You talk about Cameron Stafford just
catches everything
in traffic. Now head up, looking for a cutter.
He's not going to give you a ton in the dodge game, but you have Kraus. You put him inside, you force feed him a little bit. I like him in the middle of this Cavalier offense.
Interesting thing about Stafford, too, the transfer from Vermont. Talking to Coach Tiffany earlier this week, he said, look, this is his last opportunity to really make something of himself at the college game, and he's practicing and playing hard. He isn't riding out the string in his career. Maloney. Missed on that pass to Aiken, and that's going to be a costly turnover for Virginia.
They turned the ball over. That's why when the score was 8-1, I did not think this thing was over in any instance.
It's been a different half for Johns Hopkins. They dug themselves a hole, but they're patiently now working their way out of it. Marr, low, scores! Road pointing to himself saying that's on me, but that's a pretty tough save any way you look at it.
I don't know who's making this save, but I just mentioned earlier, you find a guy like Kyle Marr who can spray it. Get him off a pick inside, let him pop. Joel Tinney recognizes the lefty sniper. And then the old fist pump. My favorite celebration in college lacrosse is Kyle Marr's hockey fist pump. It's a thing of beauty. Kid gets excited when he scores, loves the game.
It's almost like a fist pump, not just a regular hockey celebration, but like if a Ty Domi were to score a goal. Like the 1 goal a year Domi would score, right? The horse.
He loves hockey too. Huge Rangers fan. His father, Scott Marr, head coach of the #1 ranked team in the country, the Albany Great Danes. Those two growing up would watch all the Rangers games together.
It's a 3-goal lead right now for Virginia. I'm not saying the Hoos are reeling, but now if you're Coach Tiffany, you got to be thinking, all right, let's find some way to stem this tide and get back to doing what we do and what they did in the first half.
And here's the most challenging aspect of that all. Do you tell your team to start slowing the ball down? I mean, that's not really in your DNA. So you're kind of at that conflict zone if you're Virginia right now, up 3.
Moreland and Schwenk battling. Connors originally got it. It's going to go back to Hopkins. Stanwyck pointless in this game to this point. He's scored a point in 55 straight games for Hopkins. DeSimone. A little bit of space for the freshman. Back to Tinney. Here's Stanwyck. Hooper's done well to stick with him all game long. Concannon gonna get the call shot, just a little bit high. You could hear that hitting Concannon's face mask from here.
Yeah, it's a slash.
Personal foul, 14 white. Slash, 1 minute. 14 white, slash, 1.
Matt Jama's going to go sit in the box, and this will be another opportunity for Hopkins. 0 for 2 on the day so far, extra man. Down 3. They'll have a minute left here.
This was the most feared unit in college lacrosse a season ago from an extra man standpoint. Now, nothing like a season ago when they were around 60%. Now at 33% coming into this game. 7 outside as a cannon, as does 13. Those are the 2 sharpshooters.
That's Concannon. Stanwyck scores! Little tic-tac-toe finding Shaq right on the doorstep.
Father Wells, brother Tad, and mom Dory loving it. There's Steele on the far right too. Look, when you decide to shut a guy off, they were shutting Kyle Marr off for part of this possession you see in the top left of the screen. That creates other opportunities and an easy skip pass for Shaq Stanwyck. 2 easy, Joel Tinney. Great recognition cross crease.
Now a point in 56 straight games, tying the Hopkins school record. Terry Reardon also scored in 56 straight.
Great name, right? Shaq Stanwyck.
About as good as it gets.
Real name, Shackelford, right?
Yes.
That's 2 distinct different
No question about it. Well, I can see why he went with Shaq.
You think of Shaq as a baller, Shackelford, that's lunch with Judge Smales.
Shackelford, how about coming over and mowing my lawn? I can see why he'd go with Shaq. Plus, if you've got a brother named Steele, you better go with Shaq.
Yeah.
Judge Smales.
Loose ball, hold on white, followed by delay in game, 14 white, technical foul, 30 seconds. Delay in game, 14 white.
Wow, this is a big turn of events. Lars Tiffany pleading his case. He knows at 9-7, there's been some counter punches by the Blue Jays, and the Cavaliers have been feeling them.
So Jama back to the box for another 30 seconds, and it's a Hopkins man-up unit that just scored their first goal of the game moments ago. They've scored 5 goals in just over 10 minutes of game time, so they're starting to feel it offensively.
20 in the building, 20.
Blue Jays extra man.
15 in the building.
Here's Marr. Score! And he is gripping and ripping right now.
Hammer time. And I love the versatility in Marr's shot and his release. Do you remember his last goal? Was a low to low. Dropped the stick, went low on road. This time drops the stick, stings high, celebrate 13. Wow.
6 unanswered, including the last 2 man up for Hopkins. They're more than right back in this game. They've got all the momentum now as we head towards the waning moments of the third quarter.
It's why you love this sport, Chris. You're down 8-1. You think you're dead to rights. And you know, and I know, there's potential for a run, and Hopkins embracing these opportunities that Virginia's given them.
This one's going to be a violation against Moreland, so Virginia takes over. And just as it just seemed like a few minutes ago, Paul, I was asking you, what on earth is Petro telling his team in the locker room right now? You got to ask the same question about Lars Tiffany right now. You had a 9-2 lead at the half. It's completely evaporating.
You know, Tiffany is thinking right now with these timeouts. Get the end of the third quarter coming. You want to save them during that run. You have a really young team. You're going to have to connect with these guys.
Herring over to Moore. He uses the opportunity. Saved by Turnbaugh. Virginia retains possession. That may have hit the post. That thing ricocheted with some good velocity. Again, a skip, this time over to Aiken. Shoots, scores!
Aiken's a beast. And Kuhn, 10 in blue, you have to make contact with this guy. Look there, there's no real contact or even the ability to get on his hands and disrupt the shot. The defensive approach, it's a little late off of ball movement, but the worst part of that is you did nothing to get into Dox Aiken's hands or his body there to disrupt his momentum or his shooting release.
Dox has 4 on the day. Gives Virginia that 2-goal lead back. Face-offs have evened up. First half, Schwenk owned it. He won 10 of 13. But Moreland sat for a face-off. May have kind of, Petro may have used that as an opportunity for him to, hey, watch what's going on out there, maybe learn a thing or two, because he's been much better since coming back in, and he wins this one. And he's going to take a shot over the goal.
Good backup by Hopkins.
Guida. Oh, nice check that time by Rock. He's played fantastically, the freshman from McLean, Virginia. Hopkins gets possession back, though the Virginia coaches are furious.
They got it.
Back to the Cavs. Krause.
Getting Aiken the ball or Krause. Those are the two guys that, from a dodging standpoint,
here's Aiken. Score! We got a game of runs, Clark, and it's fun to watch.
Find number 6, find number 2. Then worry about the rest if you're Johns Hopkins. Because Dox Aiken is absolutely hammering the ball. Righty, lefty from the outside, dodging. One of the best midfield performances I've seen in 2018. The 5-goal performance by Dox Aiken. They don't have an answer for this guy. Lars Tiffany mentioned there's a few guys with fire in their eyes. The team's been exchanging blows.
Yeah.
It's 9-8. Well, guess what? One of the 3 guys he mentioned with fire in his eyes, last 2 goals for Dox Aiken.
He also mentioned at the end of that Notre Dame game, he didn't see the killer instinct in his team, and maybe he'll see it today. Maybe they're going to grow up a little bit today. Here's Moreland again, wide open, and he scores! Second time off the face-off win, Hunter Moreland splits that Virginia defense like Moses and puts it in the back of the cage.
This game is awesome. And Hunter Moreland is relentless. Do you remember the last time he won the face-off and went right through the Virginia defense? Where did he shoot the ball? High. He recognized that. The next time down, instead of shooting the ball in that same location or going for top corner, he stings it low and beats Rode at his feet. This game's awesome.
I kind of had a feeling it might be. The way these two teams play, and talking to Petro earlier in the week, says, I want to run with a runner. And that's what we're seeing today.
This is one of those games, Chris. It could be a 2-goal game going into the 4th quarter. No one has any clue who's winning this game.
Now a discussion with the officials. Ball went out of bounds. And it looks like there's some indecision as to where possession is going to go. Not to Dave Petromala's liking, at least from his actions. Ball goes out of bounds. No possession on the faceoff. Didn't cross the restraining line, is what the officials were saying to Petro.
So they have to reface.
That's what they're going to do. They can't tell who went off last. All for naught. Minute left to go in the third quarter. We'll reface. Schwenk and Moreland are going to need an ice bath after this one because they have been going at it.
I don't know how these face-off specialists do it, to be quite honest with you. Complete battle, just abusing their bodies at the X.
Great example of it right there. We'll have a call, and it's going to go to Virginia. Moore, Quinn, and Herring at the midfield spots. Laviano, Stafford, and Kraus on the attack line. Final 30 seconds here of the third quarter. Hopkins has come storming back. They were down 9-2 at the break. Virginia scored a couple here to give them that 2-goal lead back. Oh, found a cutter, but couldn't quite make the connection there with Stafford.
Plenty of time.
Here's Herring. He was looking for Stafford again. Stafford's battling for it in front of the mouth of the goal. Herring, 2 seconds, off the post. And that is going to wrap up one of the most entertaining quarters of lacrosse you're going to ever hope to see.
Oh, yeah.
In what promises to be a heck of a fourth quarter, Hopkins has come storming back. It was a big lead for Virginia at the half. Petromala and his crew weren't going anywhere. First Aiken, his 5th of the day. But watch out for even the Fogo. Hunter Moreland keeps Hopkins in. Hopkins has come storming back here in the third quarter. Cole Williams caught fire early. Using that big 6'5" frame of his. Kyle Marr got involved. And then finally, Shaq Stanwyck, who had been held scoreless to that point. There's Marr again, just starting to light it up, Paul.
And Rode, the freshman goalie for Virginia, I think he's been outstanding, but the sharpshooters of Hopkins came to life in that third quarter. You watch a guy like Marr spray it and how he changes the levels, and that ball is humming. This is going to be an incredible fourth quarter.
College lacrosse presented by Old Spice. Chris Cotter, Paul Carcaterra here at Klockner Stadium. And Moreland just lost sight of it there. But Hopkins gets possession, down 2. Opportunity, can't get it on Cage. Here's Williams with Greco checking him. Tinney. Oh, nice look that time. Stanwyck again to Mark behind his back.
This is next level offense. This is next level offense. Look at Joel Tinney here. The stutter step just jukes the entire Virginia defense. Throws it cross Cage, and then Kyle Marr catches it. Brilliant. To understand my shot is behind the back. Call me a hot dog, a showboat, it doesn't matter. You just increased your angle and you made it virtually impossible for the goaltender to see your release point. What a gorgeous play. Those are just lacrosse players and instincts taking over. Because Tinney makes that move, should I shoot at the last second, he sees cross crease. Cross crease understands, ball's down, everyone's eyes are on me. Marr knows to continue to cut. I mean, that is just unbelievable lacrosse IQ across the board by the Blue Jays.
Schwenk battling. Moreland Ground ball. Jama initially had possession. This is a man's game right now. You better not be afraid to mix it up because you're going to get popped. Hopkins trailing by 1. They've trailed all game long. An opportunity now to net things up here early in the 4th. DeSimone, once again, he's got Smith on him, scores!
Ice in the veins for only a freshman in college lacrosse. On the road, down 1. Give me the rock. It's time for me to go to the cage. Beautiful split. And if you watch this shot, never break stride. His feet are moving at full speed the entire time. And the shot is poetry in motion. That's what the great shooters on the run do, Chris. They never break stride. They don't have to stop their feet in motion to have some giddy up. What a goal by the freshman.
Connor DeSimone, Dave Petromalis said fall, and early on in the winter, second team midfield, just couldn't keep him off the field. The kid was just playing so well in practice, he just couldn't keep him away. Knotted up for the first time since we were scoreless. Another face-off win for Moreland.
This is what concerns me if I'm a Virginia fan. You've lost a lot of close games over the last few years, and teams have come from behind, and you haven't finished. And the message is the time is now. You need one of these tight wins moving forward, Chris. It's got to happen if you're a Cavalier fan.
This would be devastating here at Klockner. You had the 9-2 lead at the half, dominating the game in the first half.
Close isn't good enough.
Baskin, diminutive freshman. I mentioned it earlier. Petro said he's really been coming on of late, earning more minutes. Here's Stanwyck. Baskin, looking for a crease, can't find anything. Frazier, the sniper. Here's Williams.
Look at that quick double. Be a feeder, 14 in blue. Understand that the slide is coming early and often. Watch this. The slide is there. There's going to be 2 guys right there, always.
Took the shot high and wide. Hop retains with Guida.
If you're Hopkins, where is the slide coming from when 14 in blue has the ball?
Stanwyck has some space now, head up. Basket, saved by Rode. 12 save for Rode. This freshman now is in the battle for his life, isn't he?
The freshmen playing big today, right? I mean, someone tell these kids they're freshmen. A year ago, they're running around high school fields. Today, huge fixtures in this ball game.
Virginia gets it into the box. Successful clear. Here's Aiken. Now Aiken has Danny Jones on him. What can he do?
Stay with this matchup. Any short stick, I stay with. Got to give the ball. Now they're going to shut Docs off. Danny Jones is not going to allow 6 and White to have the ball. So once he got rid of it,
Moore with a big right hand.
He might not see it again this possession. Now they just switched off him.
Kraus tried to feed it, but Moore's right there. We're going to have a crease violation. Hopkins ball. And they're moving. Here's Tinney. Space. Can't get it on net, though. That one was deflected out front. Williams. Harassed. Comes out of there with it. Gets it over to Marr. Who thought about that? Had a screen, too.
A sub here. Get the defensive midfield off the field, fresh legs. Roll out your horses. 3 in blue, 55 in blue. Those are the guys who can create offense from up top, can cannon. He can beat you from behind as well.
Stanwyck. Here's DeSimone. Got a shorty on him. It's Jama, now they switch off. Hoopa initially knocks it free. DeSimone gets it back. Syracuse and Duke coming up next. If we go beyond 1:30, you can watch that game on the ESPN app. If you don't have that app on your mobile device, you're crazy. Here's Concannon. Thought he was going to pull the trigger on that one because you'd be missing a game like this if you were out running errands on a Saturday.
Yeah, and it's not if we go over, we are going over.
Oh, open. Save again by Rode. DeSimone had a good look. Rode was up to the task. 2 freshmen. Tinney, oh, shake and bake, score!
You've been following college lacrosse over the last few years. You know, in crunch time, double nickels, the Tin Man always delivers. Little shake, a little bake, a little rip. Look at this move, Chris. Watch this. Whoop, smell ya later.
Tinney, the senior captain from north of the border, gives Hopkins their first lead of the game at the 9:12 mark of the 4th quarter.
What a game.
Wild one.
What a game, right?
Anish and Ryan Boyler standing by for Syracuse and Duke. I'm sure they're watching this one, enjoying it. Hopefully we'll have just as good a game as we've got here later on.
That's why you have to have that watch app. You can multitask.
That's exactly why you've got to have it.
My wife and kids know that all too well. Oh yeah, honey, I'm paying attention. Not.
Shopping today? No problem. At the end. Hopkins right now at Jared Reinson. Yet another freshman contributing in this game. Both of these teams, the future looks so bright for them with all these young players playing. The future looks bright for us lacrosse fans here in the next 8.5 minutes because we are being treated to some great, entertaining lacrosse. Here's Basket. Stanwyck uses the pick. Rode makes that save on Basket. Stanwyck is there. Williams with Greco checking him. Williams, the shovel pass score on a shot that Rode may want to get back, but he's not going to have an opportunity.
It was a change of pace on a player who typically loves to drive to his left. Goes right. It looks like Rode had a piece, but it doesn't matter. The Blue Jays are rolling.
An 11-2 run to take a 2-goal lead over Virginia here about midway through the 4th quarter. Don't forget about Sports Center coming your way tonight. Davis and Harden squaring off. We have an Elite 8 action too. Don't forget today and tomorrow, Elite 8, the men's NCAA basketball tournament. It's at 11 o'clock on ESPN, 11 o'clock Eastern, also streaming live on the ESPN app.
Look at that shirt. Wahoo. Go Jays. That's one big Jay fan right there, Cornell Willis. Always supporting his Blue Jays, whether they're home, at Homewood, or on the road.
It was about a 3-hour drive. 95, 495.
Sounds about right. Beautiful drive, too. You get into the Virginia mountains and
once you get past that DC traffic.
Yeah, beauty.
Shouldn't be too bad on a Saturday. Anyway, back to the game. The Klockner. Possession to Hopkins. And they'll keep it with Marr now. Will Rock giving chase. The 7.5 minutes, important obviously to both these teams when you think that next step to get back into the national relevancy here, Paul. To have a 9-2 lead at home against a team that would be a real big feather in your cap to get that W. And to lose that lead and lose the game, I just have to think that would be devastating for Lars Tiffany.
Completely. I think the next 7 minutes obviously dictates a lot of the season because you get this street cred type of win.
And DeSimone just buries it.
If you're Virginia, you have an opportunity to get a monster win against a top 10 team, regardless of what happens in the ACC. You have that feather in your cap, but guess what? When the Blue Jays were down 8-1, the belief didn't stop, and the freshman DeSimone with a hat trick today. The young guys have stepped up in critical spots for the Jays, and Connor DeSimone, the light turned on for him. We talked about his fall in his early spring, but I thought that Princeton game, early in the season, a few games into the season, he really started to get confidence and show you he is an elite playmaker from the midfield.
Hunter Moreland has been so good in the second half at the X as well as these wings. Aiken comes in, though, and gets possession for Virginia. That was huge. They've got to score here to stem the tide.
It's a game of runs, and you can tell in the body language, this doesn't look like the same Virginia team. In the first half, they came out on fire. The belief was there. You saw it in their bodies. And right now, they look shell-shocked.
Moore, wide of the cage. It's going to stay with Virginia just. Foley sprinted the line, almost one possession. Here's Aiken. For Krause behind the cage. Oh, turn ball. We've seen him do that a number of times today already, again.
Yeah, what he does is when the ball's behind, he cheats out a little bit on the pipe, and what that does is it allows you to pick off all those passes.
Under 6 minutes to play. Turnball with a shot. This is going to be a penalty going the other way here, pushing the back.
Yeah, Cole Williams, 30 seconds on the road.
Technical foul, 14 blue, push, 30 seconds, 14 blue, push, 30.
Number 14 for Johns Hopkins, Cole Williams.
Yeah, it's an easy call from the officials. Rode has the ball. Williams shoves him from the back.
Virginia 2 for 4 on man up today. To say that the next 30 seconds is important would be a ridiculous understatement. Quinn.
Looking for Aiken out here, 6 and white.
He's got it. Thought about going left more now. Now underneath, and Herring couldn't handle it. Hopkins gets possession. Hubler now. See him a little hitch in his giddy up. He's been banged up. Gets the clear though for Hopkins. We're back to even strength. Tinney, the senior captain, 3 assists on the day. And a big goal we saw just moments ago. It's a 3-goal Hopkins lead, under 5 to play. They were down 9-2 at the half before Cole Williams really led the storm back for the Blue Jays.
This young buck as well, Connor DeSimone.
Concannon. Tinney. Got Corey Harris on him. Short stick, what will he decide to do in this matchup? Dodges to his left. Stanwood from the ex-patient. Now at the 4-minute mark, here's Williams. Shot over the cage.
That ball's moving too. Cole Williams is becoming a beast to deal with for opposing defenses.
Tinney finding space and scores. Hopkins has scored on 13 of their last 20 shots. Alex Rowe, the freshman, had a great first half, even in the beginning of the second half. You think his confidence is a little shaken right now? He's under a barrage.
Yes. And I will tell you, I have so much respect for the seniors and the coaching staff of Johns Hopkins. When you're down 8-1, to still believe on the road that you can turn this thing around. It's guys like Joel Tinney. And from his freshman year, the day he stepped on that campus at Homewood Field, he wanted the ball in critical spots.
Well, he got one in a critical spot there. 3:14 left in this one. It's a 4-goal lead now for Hopkins.
What a dagger for Virginia, too. I mean, there's plenty of time left here. 4 minutes if you rattle off some
face-off right here. You got to get possession. You got to give yourself an opportunity. More battling for it. Virginia with possession. Schwenk couldn't connect. Laviano just could not. Boy, that was such a great scoring opportunity. Deflected in midfield. We're going to go the other way. Laviano buries that one.
See the gesture with the hand. Let's go, let's go. Credit Laviano, who had one on the doorstep moments ago and did not deliver. And another freshman making plays on a huge stage, and the Cavaliers are still in this one. Foley tries to cheap it down.
What a play by Hooper.
Yeah, Hooper snags it right in the air. Laviano, you see Turnbull was down on his knee. Good recognition by the freshman to sting it high.
The hat for Laviano. The deficit is 3 for Virginia. Over 3 minutes left to go. Plenty of time if you can gain possessions. And an opportunity here for Justin Schwenk to do just that for the Hoops. It has been a long drought for Virginia.
Wow.
Did they end that drought with enough time? Violation to Virginia. Here's Dox. Scores!
Chris, we talk about Virginia being snake bitten and maybe questioning. One guy who never questioned anything this entire game has been Dox Aiken. As good as this kid is physically, I'm just as impressed mentally. His drive and his overall ability to get after it. This kid, I mean, the ceiling for Dox Aiken, who's only a sophomore, is through.
Restart, his 6th goal of the day. He's been on the wings for some of these face-offs.
Little gas now, though.
Yeah,
little gas.
Take a little bit of a breather. Again, the onus is on Schwenk.
Just when you thought Hopkins was taking this away,
It's been a game of runs, man. You said it. That's going to go to Hopkins. Here's Tinney. 5-point day for Tinney.
Hopkins will welcome a shot clock here. They just don't want to see it too early, because they want to exhaust as many seconds as possible.
Tinney shoots high, just as you say that.
That's a shot that I think
safe shot to keep the clock off.
You have the backup, but I think the refs are smart enough to know that that is not a legit shot. So I don't think the refs are going to say to themselves, "Wow, Tinney just generated some offense, so we're going to be slow to call it here." I think sometimes that can hurt you even a little bit. Like, oh, you're playing with us a little bit.
Now to Williams. Double team comes. Boy, he's just so physical. Just plays right through it. Back to his right, had an opportunity, didn't take it. Concannon. Now the clock is on. Marr. Here's DeSimone. Short stick on to him. Takes a shot wide of the cage. That's not going to reset the clock. 15 to shoot. Stanwyck. Rhodes gonna have to come up big here. Wide again. They'll have 10 to shoot.
That'll be Virginia ball. Closest.
Yeah, you're right.
To the ball when it went out of bounds off a shot.
There's Aiken. He has 6 goals today, a career high. He throws it away. 18th turnover of the day for Virginia, and that is massive.
They had similar opportunities against Notre Dame in the clearing game late in the 4th quarter to turn the tide. Similar results.
Lars Tiffany, Dave Petramala calling his team over. You hear a 2-goal lead for Hopkins. Hopkins won 4 games in a row. They're 1-2 on the year. Wasn't looking very good for Petramala and company. They've since put it into overdrive, and they need to, because the Big Ten is right around the corner, and that is a death march.
They're loaded, the Big Ten, as is the ACC, and parity in college lacrosse. Great again. Rutgers is a matchup. You're gonna have to deal with Jules Henneberg, who had 6 goals last week against Syracuse. And then just get into that Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten team, right? It is conference time. Bring your A game.
As Notre Dame found out, don't sleep on Michigan and Noseworthy and that crew. Virginia coming up next. They're already 0-2 in conference play. I mentioned earlier in the show, they've got Duke still on the schedule, plus they got to travel to Chapel Hill.
Well, the ACC only takes 4 teams for the tournament. There's 5 playing, so North Carolina, Syracuse, and Virginia all vying for that 3rd and 4th spot. The game head-to-head with Carolina does a few things for Virginia. Gets them off the snide. I mean, they haven't won an ACC game in over 1,400 days, okay? Take that one. But it also gives them an opportunity not only for that win and get the team thinking they can win these conference games, puts them in the conference tournament with an opportunity to win the tournament too.
You see these two have met 92 previous times. Hopkins owned the series until about the mid-90s, and then Virginia really started to come to the fore. Last 30 years, it's been slightly in the favor of Virginia, but especially lately, it's been back and forth, 1-goal games, overtime games for the most part. We've got another one today. Minute 29 left to go. Hopkins has stormed back to take a 2-goal lead. They trailed by 7 at the half. Just had a costly turnover.
Huge. I mean,
from
just
Virginia.
Exactly what's plagued you in the past happened again.
And now Petramala is going to call a timeout here to talk things over with the Blue Jays after he sees what Lars Tiffany is going to put out there. We certainly have seen a big game today from Kyle Marr. 4 goals and an assist. His dad, head coach at Albany, Scott Marr. I'm sure he's watching this game right now. And what a start Albany has gotten off to this year.
It's much-watched lacrosse. I mean, when you think of Connor Fields, if the season ended right now, to me, it's almost a no-brainer to hand him to Torton. I've watched every Albany game. What he does when he has the ball in his stick is straight-up magic. His ability to create his own offense with his left hand, but also his feeding ability. I mean, you look at the career of Fields, too. 16 goals away from breaking Zach Greer's NCAA record for career goals. He has a shot to break Lyle Thompson's all-time point record in the NCAA, which is just amazing. And then the freshman Nanacoke. But what it all comes down to, Scott Marr's system. He is creating offensive player after offensive player because of the way that he allows his players, kind of like an artistic canvas, to make plays, and they're not micromanaged, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
You know what else is not fair? When you've got a team that's so skilled and talented offensively, and you've got a face-off man that makes it almost make it take it. I mean, it's like
over 80%.
What do you do?
TD Ierlan right now. That's crazy. I mean, people are talking about the possibility of Baptiste and Ierlan in the playoffs. Denver's Trevor Baptiste, who is on track to become the first team All-American 4 times at the face-off position in college lacrosse history. And then TD Ierlan, statistically, he's doing things that's never been done before.
We've got a minute and a half left to go here, and Virginia is in desperate need of a turnover. They've got to get the ball back, and they may have gotten one right here. Rowe needs to be careful and does get the outlet pass away. Smith to Rock. Opts not to push it forward. This possession is so big for Virginia. Rock didn't want to take a chance. Kraus. Petro wants a call. He's not going to get it. Did he want an offside call? Couldn't see. Aiken.
This is trouble.
Oh, right into Turnbaugh's cross.
Rarely do you see Dox Aiken shoot right at the goalie stick. He does a magnificent job of spraying it in bottom corners and bouncing the ball. That hip-level shot stick side is not something you oftentimes will see from Aiken.
Rode out of the cage, trying to double team. Dave Petramala calls a timeout, up 2 goals. Under 28 seconds left.
Yes, okay, we'll put Kuhn and Danny right now.
They're thinking defensively. You hear him mentioning those defensive midfielders. Kuhn as one, just in case. We're going to put him on the field in case Virginia gets the ball. Very smart by Coach Petro and Bobby Benson on his right, or on our right, offensive coordinator. He's thinking all defense right now.
He's got a 2-goal lead and possession with 30 seconds left. It's a dire situation right now for Virginia. There's Kuhn right there.
Whoever has the goalie, adjacent, and Savarzi, you're going to try and play with the goalie. Back to the sideline. Defend the stick out. Operate. Run.
You see 10 in blue, that's Kuhn.
Yeah.
Robert Kuhn. So he'll go in as a midfielder with his defensive stick in the event that Virginia does get the ball. They're defensive ready.
Lars Tiffany is going to have to be a mad scientist right here in terms of drawing something up down 2 without possession.
If this game for Virginia had a title, it'd be called the one that got away.
One of the ones that got away.
Yeah.
That's another way of looking at it, which is unfortunate. At some point in time, this team is going to get a signature program changing win.
It will. I believe in Lars Tiffany's system. I believe in him as a coach. I think he did incredible things at Brown, and the style that they play too is going to attract huge recruits. So he'll get this thing going.
Tinney on his horse, running clock, the double coming.
At 10, you could just chuck it up in the air.
Marr trying to keep possession, and he's doing just that. Under 10 to play. Johns Hopkins comes to Klockner. They're down 7 goals at the half, and Dave Petramala and his club fights all the way back, and they get a hard-earned win.
Gut check, body blow, and they responded.
Marr was sensational. Tinney breaking ankles. Blue Jays get the win. Anish Shroff, Ryan Boyle, Duke and Syracuse coming your way next, guys.